because we want to spend most of, if not all of the time remaining on the oral presentations by participants. So we are going to bring out the infamous timer, and you will have 3 minutes. So first of all, before we start the timer, you'll tell us which update you have selected, and I'll bring it up on screen. And then you will be asked to first briefly comment on the selected transformative investment and prioritized strategies. And then really what we're looking for is share your experience to provide constructive advice for what kinds of activities, with respect to one of the strategies, you would recommend or suggest to your colleague who is the author of the update. So again, we're in week 2. In week 1, we had presentations about the transformative investment and prioritized strategies. In week 2, we're asking you to practice giving feedback, because you're going to be doing a lot more of that in a very structured manner once you have submitted your creator projects. So let me bring up, let me go to the next slide, and because for reasons that participants who were here last week understand, we're going to start with Dr. Khalid Abubakar Aiza. So let me start with you, and are you able to speak? If so, welcome. Okay, Khalid, you may need to unmute yourself, because at least I'm not hearing anything. Okay. All right, so I'm going to express my...
Hello? Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
Hello.
Good to hear your voice. We're able to... Yes, we're able to hear you loud and clear. Okay. Are you able to tell us...
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. I'm hearing you well.
Great. So can you tell me what is the name of the author whose update you have selected, please? Okay, there seems to be a...
Wow, I didn't actually do that.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, all right. So if you have not, it sounds like there's a lag in the audio connection. So let's go to Adamu Ibrahim. Adamu, welcome. Are you able to speak?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
Great. Well, welcome. Good to hear your voice. I can hear you loud and clear. Can you tell us the name of the author whose update you would like to give feedback and share your experience with?
Yeah, it's Dr. Nahad from Sudan.
Okay, so Dr. Nahad.
Nahad.
Okay, yes, yeah. Got it. Yeah. All right, so let me go. You should be able to see my screen full size. If it's too small, let me know. And so he has indeed, so he is a UNICEF MENA Regional Immunization Specialist. And let's go to his update. So let me see if I can make a little more room. Yeah, how is that? Okay, so country of focus is Sudan, and here we have key strategies, and I see, Adamu, that you already gave him written feedback. So I'm going to get the timer ready, and I'm starting the clock now. You have 3 minutes to comment on the update, and then really focus on most of your 3 minutes on giving advice, sharing your experience on how to develop activity planning for one of the strategies. Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, actually, the transformative investment that is choose, that's to identify unvaccinated and vaccinated person, and regularly provide them with vaccines they need. So I think there are some peculiarities that are common between Sudan and Nigeria because of insecurity due to the war that they are doing, and then our own insurgency. So when I look at the strategies, actually I found out that there are some key ones that are missing. Because if you want to improve on under immunized and unimmunized. Actually, you have to start by having a detailed micro plan, which will give you information on the areas that you'll focus. And then also, you need to prioritize service because of the fact that they're having areas that may be insecure. Actually, we have to prioritize services to reach the largest number of unvaccinated, which may be particularly areas where there's insecurity. Maybe they can be inaccessible or partially accessible. Then there's also need when we identify the areas actually to go in and do periodic routine immunization intensification actually, so that we can now make sure that areas that have issues we now reach and immunize children in those areas. So looking at the plan, actually I think there is need also to have some explanation actually on the data, because he gave information on the mixed data, which seems there's no problem, but actually we are not sure of the administrative data. Is there any discrepancy? And that's one of the questions I asked him. So, so that if there are data issues also, that one can also be a factor in planning for the reaching the unvaccinated and vaccinated. Then okay, then the other issue actually is looking at resources, actually on how to come about the resources that can be utilized actually for this activity, considering the fact that actually Sudan is under embargo for some time actually, and there's no donor or partner support. Actually, how is he going to source the resource? How are they going to source the resources actually to address this issue of unvaccinated and vaccinated? Actually, these are some of the issues that we need to critically look at, and then actually to come up with a more detailed plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adamu Ibrahim. Rudy, back to you to comment and share your insights again from the GRISP perspective, but also from your own expertise and experience with respect to the presentation and feedback we've just heard.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Again, not much to add. I think good thoughts and good ideas here.
Actually, if you could speak louder or closer to your microphone, please. We're straining to hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I think just let me pick up on the one issue, the so-called invisible children. So invisibility is a very strange thing, because there are in fact quite a number of children that are invisible by choice. So there's the reason that they are not visible to the system is because their parents or the people that are taking care of them choose to make them invisible. So not only do you have to deal with things like vaccine hesitancy, because you are concerned about the maybe the effects of the vaccine, but very frequently the invisible children are in fact invisible due to other reasons. They are not registered as citizens, or they there's a reason that they are kept invisible. So in fact, dealing with invisibility of children requires a very detailed understanding and knowledge of why these children are invisible. So in fact, it's almost impossible to find these children unless you go onto the ground, onto the area where they are, and speak to the people that are there to understand why these people are choosing to be invisible. And it requires very specific strategies to actually reach them. So I just wanted to pick up on that one point. Back to you, Lena.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rudy, and thank you to Adamoui Ibrahim, our second presenter. Unfortunately, for the second time, for the second week in a row, this time because of a technical issue, Khalid was not able to present. Let's now go to Alain Blaise Tatsinku. So I have unmuted you, and
Yes.
again, a warm welcome.
Yes,
How are
good morning, Veda. Can you please share my screen because I have a presentation, though I want to go quickly. So, and then I have something that I can share with all the colleagues afterwards.
Great. Yes, I've just there should be a prompt now to share your screen.
I
Okay.
did.
Wonderful.
So,
I'll
can I
start
start?
the timer now.
So, good morning once again. So, I'm presenting the suggestion made to Dr. Calvin Tonga. The country focus Cameroon, the transformative investment is invest in tailored strategy that is to identify on the vaccinated, unvaccinated person. And so brief, I just have a brief to remind the objective that we were asked to do. And sorry. And the importance of I start with a small definition to remind everyone for the importance of micro-planification in management of health project or intervention in general or organization. So you will see now how important it is to better plan, implement, monitor, and finally evaluate activities and resources for the project. So a good planning will ensure a better rationalization of services offered, resources, and mainly will make sure that the donor and the partner are really seeing clearly how the resources are mobilized and used. And that is really important. So my suggestion was to Calvin, which is something more general. I'm talking about suggestions for microplan in general, not specifically what he done. It's like we have first to develop tools for microplan. Develop template, Excel-based template from my experience is better because after a while you have to aggregate everything. You have to organize meeting at national level, at all the level of the system to present your tools. You have to develop training material for each level of your system. You have to conduct training among Ministry of Health staff, NGOs, partner, community. You have to make trainings. You have to test your template afterward by sampling some district. And then you constitute a pool of multidisciplinary support team that will have the responsibility of conduct the session of microplanning at all the level, at the district level. And you train those staff as well. You use special strategy. You identify special strategy for area, look at, like, for example, if you take the Cameroon example, it will be the border with Nigeria, Chad, and Central African Republic. You initiate then the microplan per district. Really important, with the support of all the API national staff and the support partner, everybody together involved with one district supporting the district to draw the microplan. And eventually we involve the representative of each community, of the catchment area, the health facility staff, the NGOs, the representative of the other sector. If you can, that would be good. And then you initiate some cross-border activity during your micro-planification, because those local people will tell you exactly how to reach those people. And then so that you set up some strategy at that time for the migrant. And then mainly you use GPS to localize those people, and then so that you're able to take the point and then have something digitalized. And you allocate resources as we always do. Then finally, you aggregate your final microplan per district, province, regional, and national. I'm taking the example of Cameroon. And then after that, you have the feedback, the meeting for the feedback. And then after the feedback, when everybody's okay with the microplan, so you can now put them in digital form. So my experience for doing that, I was involved, like I said, in Cote d'Ivoire in 2006, 2017. We use that approach.
Please conclude, Doctor, because you are out of time.
Oh, sorry. So we did it in Africa Coast. We did it in Haiti with cross-border activity, and later it was in Lac Chad region for polio response, and it was very, very a good experience. So that's what I want to share with our colleague.
Great, thank you. Over to Rudy for feedback and comments, and I'm going to show the update we're talking about. I've shared the link, so let me just, yeah, you should now be able to see the update in case you haven't seen it. So this is Calvin Tonga's update, and thank you, Alain Blaise Datsinku, for your feedback. And I see, there are many interesting comments also on the previous, on our first presenter. So again, maybe what we'll do is share the chat transcript for people who are viewing the recording, but really the best way is to ensure that you are present. Rudy, over to you. What is your feedback, advice, suggestions, and to this review of an update?
Again, nothing much to add. I think it was well done. Thank you very much. The one component about microplanning that we may be not highlighting enough is its iterative nature. So microplanning is really not something that you do in a once-off manner, but is something that you repeatedly do for each. Certainly for the routine program, we know microplanning for campaigns, of course, are done prior to each campaign. But really, the microplanning that we're talking about here for the routine program is something that is an iterative activity that is supposed to be sort of learning from the previous microplan, the implementation thereof, etc. So that's maybe something that I would highlight more is the learning approach from taking the microplan, implementing it, reviewing how you did, and then doing the next microplan. Back to you, Rita.
Great, thank you, Rudy. So let's go to our next presenter. Let's try to squeeze one more presentation in, and so after Alain Blaise Datsinku, we have Friday in Coma. And let me unmute, let me see, Friday, okay, yes. Good afternoon, Friday. Welcome, are you able to speak? Can you hear me clearly? Okay, at least I'm not able to hear Friday at all, so I'm going to leave the microphone open for a couple more seconds. Let's go to Mohamed Miroz Salem. Okay. And again, we only have a few minutes left, so we do have many more questions to go back to. So maybe we'll go back to questions or ask our course team member subject matter experts to conclude. Yes, Mohamed Miroz Salim, are you able to speak to us?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, yes, welcome. All right,
yeah,
let's...
can you hear me, please?
Yeah, yes, loud and clear. So could you give me the name of the person whose update you'd like to share your experience about?
It's Pragat. Yeah, it's
Sorry,
Pragat from India.
Okay, yeah. So that's
Pragat.
Yes. All right, let me share then my browser so we can see the updates. And we are going, this is going to make us go over time. So again, if you are able to, if you need to go in 2 minutes, you of course are free to go. But for those of you who are able to stay on, this will help give hopefully useful advice. So let me see, here is the update so I do not make the mistake I made with Calvin's. So yes, so
really here, I do need to excuse myself. I do have another conference to go to. So just to appreciate that you called me into this meeting and to encourage everybody to continue working on this. The routine program is a great program, and good luck everybody. But I need to excuse myself now.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rudy. All right, we'll take one last presentation, and then I will be staying over to walk through the steps related to getting started with your Creator project and explaining exactly how that works step by step. So if you need to go, as is the case for Rudy and perhaps Alexandra or Jamil, of course, you may do so, but for those of us who remain, Dr. Mohammed, the floor is yours. I'm starting the timer now.
Thank you very much. Regarding Pragat, he chose to invest in vaccinators and district managers, be regularly and systematically building their capacity. Regarding the strategies, what he have already done in transformative investment, number one is ensure ongoing refresher and in-service training to the vaccinators and supervisors. And then he explained a few things which they already done in India. My suggestion is that instead of going for haphazard trainings, then they have to be very much clear that how frequent the training should be. It's like quarterly mid-level managers training for the mid-level managers, and then at least 6 monthly training for the vaccinator staff. Then the second point, can you please go up, sir, up one? Hello.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Regarding the promote of staff motivation, it should be like not only the reward thing or just only the regular payment material things. It should be like accountability, strengthening of accountability framework. Like in Pakistan, there is a NEEP, National Emergency Action Plan, for polio campaigns, and we are augmenting this in routine immunization as well. Reward and punishment should be like the same manner. Accountability framework at through the provincial task teams, accountability task teams, and as well as at the district level task teams. They have to be very much clear that those who are very good performers, they should be rewarded. Like in Pakistan and Punjab, we started in few districts that those vaccinators who are very much doing very much good in routine immunization, then one extra salary they have given. So this kind of motivation to not only for vaccinators or the frontline workers, but also for mid-level managers as well. Then track capacity building and ongoing training needs. That is basically what he meant to say, need-based training or need-based assessment. It should be on monthly or at least quarterly review meeting of mid-level managers, and with also the shuffling between the districts. That will be a good thing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry about the timing for the session. We're now over time, and it would have been nice to get some closing comments from Rudy Eggers. But thank you to the presenters again. I hope you are not frustrated if you did not get to present today. There are some very good very good comments in the chat also, which I have not been able to read due to lack of time. We'll continue to work on improving this process. Let me turn now to Jilmil just for a final word of encouragement and guidance for the group before we go to the technical support session. Jilmil, you'll need to unmute yourself, and I hope that we are able to hear. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I hope you can. Thank you very much for yet another very interactive session, and very pleased with all the comments that you've been sending and your engagement with the whole training course. It makes me want to also invite other experts to the subsequent sessions, because I see that there's a great value and a lot of good interaction, and it's learning for us as well. Here the team at WHO is also learning a lot from your interactions. So please keep up the good work, and later maybe we need to talk about who we can invite in the coming sessions. Thank you very much, and have a very productive week.
Great, thank you, Jilmil. Thank you also to Alexandra. And as you've seen through the videos and also the messages we shared with you, there's a lot of interest and a lot of support from for the work that you are doing, and I hope that this will, some of you certainly do not need additional encouragement, but it is there. All right, so let's now bring this session, the formal session, the mandatory session that is a certificate requirement, is now finished. However, I am staying online in order to show you step by step what you are going to be doing, how this whole business with Creator works in this for your course project, how to get started.